welcome back, everybody. Just going to wait for the lovely aliholic to rejoin us right now. And I can't wait to continue this discussion because we've got a lot more questions for her. This is going to be big. She's very well known, even to the point that my friend has actually shared our story, and she's all the way in the Gold Coast at the moment because I'm sure that she'll be able to tell us this herself, but she's performed not only here in Adelaide and South Australia, but in Melbourne and in other states across the country. She is a very, very well-known queen. Just confirmed that, and she should be joining this live any second. And it is not working. Okay, I'm going to send the invite to you. Wait, wait. There we go. It worked. My apologies. So as I was just saying, so my lovely friend Jackie, who's actually in the Gold Coast at the moment, and I'm going to be going live with her next weekend on Couch Talks. She's a dog remedial massage therapist and she does a lot of yoga. She has literally called you out as a celebrity, but that's because, correct me if I'm wrong, you've actually done some shows over there recently, or you actually attended a show. And you've definitely done shows in other states aside from Melbourne and Adelaide.
I've performed in Perth and I've done quite a lot of country gigs throughout South Australia and Victoria. Never performed
I would
up in the
love
Gold
to
Coast
hear
or anything.
about them because you are very, very, very well known, even by people up in little old Queensland is not little, but that just goes to show that there are people literally sharing our story right now going, you're a celebrity.
So I've done quite a few country gigs. I've done little towns in the middle of nowhere where I've had to perform on the back of a semi-trailer, and the hotel we stayed in to go out for a smoke had to crawl out the window onto the roof of the pub, kind of thing.
Oh
That was
my God,
fun.
that sounds like a brilliant story.
It was a great night. The first time we did it there, they had a town hall there, and
Yep.
that was good. And they did all these nibbles and everything after the show, and pretty sure someone's got a video of me walking back down the main street of Yongala, barefoot in a sequin caftan, eating cob loaf.
So that just sounds like you have not changed your entire career. Like, yes, you've been keeping things fresh, like the advice you were giving for the baby queens before. Keep it fresh, keep changing. But when you're coming down off that recovery after that show, shoes off, food in hand, leave me alone. Let me eat.
Exactly. Let me eat and then get me home. And if I can get my face off, we've done good for the night. So,
Exactly.
so
Oh. But
is
going back to advice for queens and baby queens and getting to know your community, why is
mm,
getting to know your community and your audience so important? Because we were talking about connecting and all of that, but why is it actually so important?
well, you've got to make the connection and know your community. So you also judge what you're going to perform on what venue you're at or what kind of crowd it's for, kind of thing. Like I did a show a couple of weeks ago in Whyalla with Miss Treat and Trisha Halliday and Rita Damore and
Yep.
Vader, and it was mostly middle-aged married women that wanted a night out at a football club. And
Yep.
you got to pick the songs that they're going to know, but they're going to enjoy as well. So for things like that, I'll always do something old. Like I've really got a really good mix of Drove All Night, which I happened to do after the whole Drove All Night incident at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And then I'll always find some parody of another song to do just to make it fun for the second half or something. So it's knowing your audience and knowing your crowds as well, and
And how do you
knowing the
learn that
community.
over time? Like how do you learn that? And like what's the big indicator? Because obviously you learn your community and know community, but how do you know your community?
By being personal and getting to know them and taking the time to talk to people. Like you've got to be out and you've got to be talking to people. You can't be sitting in dressing rooms the whole time like you're a diva, like you've been in drag for 2 minutes and yeah, your mum and all that might have come, but who else is going to come to see you? And at the end of the day, venue owners aren't going to put you on unless they know you've got those people that will come to a show or something. So
Yeah.
stuff like that you've got to learn. And I mean, there's still times I perform and I think, well, that was a shit choice of a song to do. It went over like a lead balloon. Where there's been others where I've done that song and it's been a different crowd and they've loved it.
Yeah.
So, and it's taking the
And
good with the
so
bad.
obviously, because now going on to another question then. So what's the big differences between the rural communities to the city communities? Like, how do you have to perform in the rural communities to city communities?
I prefer to perform to the rural communities because at the end of the day, they don't watch Drag Race every week. They don't go to clubs and see drag queens every week. It's
Yeah.
something new for them. And like me and Rita were talking about it while we are getting ready at Whyalla, that a straight crowd that doesn't see us all the time, like we could literally walk out there and pick our noses and do a shot and they'd cheer and laugh for us because it's something funny that they don't see all the time. So
Yeah.
we
And
perform
I'm
in pubs
guessing
where
that they're more accepting as well.
a lot, you do get your weird ones that are there. So, like I said, there's always a drunk woman somewhere. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but most everyone's really accepting, and because a lot of these like not even events, shows we do in rural areas, it's publicised as drag queens and everything, and people buy tickets to go, so they know what they're getting. It's not like drag queens just appeared at a pub, which does
Just
happen
like when you go to
occasionally,
Mary Poppins. Like, no offense to Mary Poppins, but it's Mary Poppins.
exactly, you know what you're going to get there. You're going to get drag queens on the stage. So, but no, rural and country gigs are just so much more fun, and yeah, so like we do one, me
And
and Vonnie and Chris did one in Port Pirie a few weeks ago with Marshmallow, and they loved us. Like, I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning by the time they actually shut the bar and told me and Marsh we should probably go to bed by now before we drank the bar dry.
and is this where you're meant to turn around and be like, no, we don't usually go to bed till like 3, 4 o'clock.
And they've gone, okay, we'll leave the bar open. You can just pour your own beers. Well, okay.
Back in the day when you were allowed to do that.
Exactly. So,
Just like Matty Ween's saying, and hi Matt, probably haven't seen me for years as well, but back in the pub days of 2007.
I still remember when Maddie used to do drag, and back in 2007 it would have been, I reckon. Me and Maddie went on a pub crawl with the Strathalbyn Hunt Club, which was you had to dress in formal attire, so everyone wore ball gowns and three-piece suits and everything. And me and Maddie went in drag for the day, which was quite fun. So we did a few pubs in
That would
Strath,
have
I think
been
it was.
amazing to see. When did Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, it was about 6 years ago that Maddie stopped doing drag?
Think so. I'm not sure. I was
He,
there
he,
when
he,
Maddie
that,
did her first
she can
show.
correct us online.
She can, yes. So
So obviously, so you've performed with a lot of different drag queens as well. So I want to ask for some more advice for baby drag queens out there. How do you work with different queens?
you try not to affect, like, there is an unwritten hierarchy almost between queens. So
Yeah,
you'll know, like, you've got your seasoned performers and everything that have been doing it for years. So you know, you don't disrespect your elders pretty much. So
yeah.
you get a lot of young queens that they start drag, they get their first show and everything, and they think they're the bee's knees. And then they'll come in and they'll start being what we call shady to a lot of the older
Yeah.
queens that have been around for a while. Then they get
Well,
their nose
I've got
out
a
of joint when they
question
get put
then.
in their place.
Like, I've got a question that relates exactly to what you're talking about then. So, say if I was to get Bubbles out of the wardrobe then, and a baby queen was to disrespect me, obviously I'm an older queen. I've been around for a very long time. I've never been out much. But what would I do in a scenario like that? Or how would the hierarchy of that be involved? Just for baby queens out there to know.
There's a few ways. Like, you can politely remind them of who you are and what you have done. You can throw a glass of champagne on someone, or you can just walk away. Quite frankly. So
Quite frankly, I'd
yeah,
most likely just walk away because, like, yes, I've been around, but only the older queens really know who I am, like yourself, Vonnie, Sherry,
exactly. So
but none of the baby
it's a
queens would
hard
have
one.
any idea who I was.
That's all right. I remember I went out. I hadn't been to Mary Poppins for ages, and I went out in drag one night, and no one actually knew who Aliholic was.
Oh my God, that would have been quite the ordeal.
Which I thought was absolutely hilarious, and I just played along with it, that I was only out in my first ever time in drag, and blah, 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 and yeah. So there is ways
That would
I'm
have
making
been
jokes about it,
great.
but so like a lot of
And
them,
I could just imagine if Karen was there by the end of the night, she would have just turned around to a few people and went, "You do know who that is, right?"
she would definitely do that. We know what our dear Karen's like.
Yes, Matt.
You,
That's actually a big reason why I don't go out. Not to mention, I'm not really a part of the drag scene anyway, because as Ali here knows, the whole reason Bubbles was invented was because I lost a bet and I
it
had to
was,
go out in drag.
yes, and you
And
complained
then
the
it was
whole
so much
night,
fun that I got asked to go out again, just to
and
sit
then
in
you
the crowd. And
complained.
this is exactly, and this is a queen. This is something that queens get paid to do frequently as well. Sometimes they don't go out to do a show; they actually go out to mingle. Do they not?
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do go out. We do go out to mingle and have some fun, and sometimes so it's always interesting.
Because
Like
and,
sometimes
and they get paid to do that to help with like advertisement of the club and the facility as well, isn't it?
it is, yes. So it's like I've been hired just to go to parties, just to mingle, to have photos taken because they just want something different there, kind of thing, and haven't had to perform or
You've
anything.
already
So
seen me in drag, sweetie. Plenty of drunk night in your dresses. Yes. All right. So I've got another question for you.
hmm
Obviously, you're a hairdresser and you've got your own like salon and that. Do you
yeah,
get drag queens coming to you to help them with their wardrobes for their shows?
some do. Like I mean, me and Jackie and Karen always joke that we have our communal drag wardrobe because
Yeah.
we've got a lot of stuff that the three of us all fit, so we all just swap outfits between the three of us, and wigs and all that we kind of swap around between the three of us. So I've had a friend of mine who did drag a few years ago, hasn't done drag for a few years, and he's got a drag party coming up, and he's messaged me if he could borrow a costume. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like that doesn't. There's some things I probably wouldn't lend, but
Yep.
most of the time I'm more than happy. And normally it's me that's borrowing stuff off anyone else, or just helping myself to their bags in the dressing room. Like
And that's just kind of how it goes. Like when you're in the community, it really is the community and you do share a lot of your things.
we do exactly. So there's always times like me and Marsha. Like I'm always borrowing stuff off Marsha, without a doubt. Like there was one night I put on a necklace that she had, and she turned around and she's like, "Oh, I've got the same necklace. Let me find mine. We'll wear them together." I'm like, "Love, it's yours. I just took it out of your bag." Like things like that. Like that's what that's how good as sisters we are. And like me and Jackie do it all the time. Like Jackie will ring and go, "Oh, I've got nothing to wear." I'm like, "Oh well, come around, help yourself." She's like, "But you're at work." I said, "Well, you know where the key is. Let yourself in. You know where all the drag stuff is. Go your hardest."
Actually, yes, Matt, that is definitely something that a lot of people should know. Never leave your drink unattended. It's worse nowadays than it ever was. I remember when we were both younger, much younger, it wasn't as bad as it is nowadays. If you leave a drink, you best just walk away from it.
I think it means you don't leave a drink around when I'm around.
Well, there's that
As
too as well, because
there
it's
is,
going to be
yes.
gone.
They call me aliholic for a reason, not Sally sober.
Exactly.
Mm. So
Oh. So tonight's been great. So I think I'm going to leave you off in one last question. What do
yeah,
you plan to do for your future, and what future performances do you wish to be a part of?
not sure. I think I'll get through the Royal Show first because that's
Yep.
9 or 10 days in. I think I've got to be in drag for 10 days in a row. Like my skin's probably
That's
going to
going to be
hate
a
me.
lot of makeup, a lot of showers, and a lot of sweat.
It is. It's going to be painful, but I'm really looking forward to it. So, and all this for the Royal Show branched out from we got hired to be extras in a movie that's coming out end of the year, start of next year, in the finale of the movie. So who knows what this could lead on to with us doing the royal show and being seen by thousands and thousands of people. So
That's true. And now that you've actually mentioned that, that kind of does make me want to ask another question. Are you at liberty to tell us more about that movie?
no, we're not allowed to talk about it at all. So
Ah,
all I can
that's
say
the
is
horrible thing about the industry.
it is. The rehearsal for it was great. It involved me and Jackie drinking champagne in my living room watching Jerry dance around. Yes. So no, we'll just
Oh,
extras in
that
the
would have
finale for
been
it. It's nothing
phenomenal.
major. Yes. So
Oh, so I can't wait to see you at the show. Anybody who does attend, I would love for you all to record it because I'm sure lovely aliholic would love to have a good recording of her at the show. Needs it for
yes.
advertising. Look, we're going to be vain here. Somebody record this woman. She needs advertising.
Exactly. I mean, it might end up on the front page of a newspaper like Drag Queen on the Oval or something. Who knows?
Actually, my
I know.
friend's got a question for you. She wants to know what you are doing at the Royal Show. Obviously, we've been talking about it, but you might as well just sum
Yes.
it up before we jump offline.
So what it is every night they have their evening entertainment before the fireworks, and we've been hired as a part of. There's a huge group of us of different dancers and everything to put on a big performance. So I'm not even exactly sure what else there is in it because we haven't been told yet. So
Well,
it'll
that's
be,
true
I'm
because the
sure,
rehearsals
because
are
it's
going to
the
be
Royal Show,
starting.
it'll be amazing. Yeah, it'll be fun. So hopefully it doesn't rain too much because I don't think my hair will hold up, or might have to wear
Look,
flats or something if I'm
with
on my
enough
own.
hairspray, it'll always hold up. You know that.
Exactly. I'll varnish it so it just beams off it. It'll be right.
Well, that works. I've got plenty of resin in here as well. We can literally put it into a spray bottle for you, and we can spritz it all up so it doesn't fall down, and you can look like glass,
Perfect.
shimmer away, shine bright like a diamond.
Exactly. Perfect. Yes.
But
Secrets
with
is best
that, it's
business.
been an absolute pleasure sharing space with you.
You too.
And we definitely have to catch up soon,
We
especially now
do.
that the better weather's coming in.
Yes. Once my schedule clears open a little bit, I'll definitely be visiting.
Uh, Look, same here, same here. Like my schedule is absolutely crazy at the moment. I've got all of this business. I've now got my own shop online, constantly making jewelry. I've made five necklaces to just today, just to be able to put up for sale. Like as soon as both of our schedules clear up, it's going to be great. And I've even got a wedding coming up that I've got to go to.
Perfect.
Yes. So with that, it's been an absolute pleasure sharing space. I will give you
You
a call
too.
sometime soon. Obviously, just a message away as well. You have a lovely
Yes.
night. Enjoy the rest of your wine, and we will
I
speak
will.
soon.
Yes. No worries. I'll talk to you
Bye
soon.
now, and thank you everybody
Bye.
for joining us for this lovely live.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.